Leatherface is a horror movie icon, and the movie is considered the father of the slasher genre of horror films. Yet it has also taken elements from real-life events. More specifically, the Leatherface character was based on the infamous serial killer Ed Gein, who reportedly had masks made of the human skin of his victims. So Annabelle might not be real, but that doesn't mean Chucky isn't. The movie's script was based on Robert the Doll, an early 20th century doll that was supposedly cursed with black magic. The doll's owner, Robert Eugene Otto, claimed that as a child the doll haunted his family. Cannibals in the Hills? Yup, that's based on real events as well. The story goes that a 16th century group of cave people, led by Alexander Sonny Bean, lived in the hills of Scotland, and over the course of 25 years killed an estimated 1,000 people until they were discovered and sentenced to death. Even the serial killer movies have a bit of real-life elements added to them. For this specific horror classic, the stories of both Ed Gein and Ted Bundy were fused to create the terrifying Buffalo Bill. The bond between Lecter and Agent Starling was based on the relationship between Ted Bundy and Robert Keppel, a criminal profiler who spent a lot of time with Ted. Not only is this movie about a haunted house based on the real-life Lutz family, but it was yet another house investigated by Ed Endler and Warren. These guys just couldn't seem to catch a break. Over the years, the Amityville case has been swapped back and forth between real and fictional. The director of the movie, Brian Bertino, has claimed that the premise for this house invasion story was based on real break-ins that took place in his neighborhood growing up. The house intruders were inspired by the Manson family murders of the 1970s. Makes you want to check the deadbolt on your door, doesn't it? This movie about demonic possession was inspired by a 16-year-old German girl named Anneliese Michel. She was thought to have been possessed by the devil back in 1968, and it wasn't until 7 years later that 2 priests performed an exorcism on her that took 10 months to finish. The 2 paranormal investigators in the James Wan movie were based on Ed Endler and Warren, real investigators who, during an inspection of the Perron family house in Rhode Island, claimed that the house was haunted by an evil witch named Bathsheba Sharon. Fortunately, the Annabelle doll was not real. This story of a reporter who investigates the mysterious Mothman of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, was initially a book by author John Keel. The book was based on Keel's personal investigations into the urban legend as well as eyewitness testimonies from residents of the area. This movie about 2 scuba divers who get lost at sea is based on Tom and Eileen Lonergan. The married couple were diving along the Great Barrier Reef back in January of '98 and were left behind. It took 2 days for the diving company to search for the Lonergans, but they were never found.